Hello and welcome to the session in which we will discuss injured spouse claims. Now, we have to differentiate between injured spouse claim and the innocent spouse relief, which we talked about in the prior session. Don't confuse the two. There's no common thing between them except the word spousal, spouse, and they are married filing jointly. Other than that, there's not much in between because the innocent spouse relief deals with error or fraud on the tax return. And this is what we had to deal with in the past, in a prior session. Now we're looking at this session. An injured spouse claim arises when married filed couple. So you have a married filing jointly, but we are dealing with the refund. Here what happened is this. We have husband and wife, couple. They filed together, married filing jointly, and they expect to receive a refund. So nothing wrong with the return, no errors, no fraud. But here's what happened. One of these couples, and let's assume the husband. Let's assume one of these couple, the husband in the past had either unpaid student loan, child support, or owe taxes to the government. So what happened is this. When the government sees there's a refund coming to this individual, the government will take the refund. Because as far as the government is concerned, the husband and wife is one unit. It does not matter which is which. Therefore, what we have here is an injured spouse. In this situation, the injured spouse is the wife. Why? Because part of the refund is hers, or maybe the full refund is hers, but because she's filing with her husband and her husband owes taxes, the government will have this offset mechanism to take the refund, to basically, in a sense, hijack the refund, take the refund, whatever you want to call it, because of past due debt for only one spouse. And here we're going to assume that the husband is the person that owe the money. So this is called, it's an offset mechanism. So the US Treasury, the US government allowed the Bureau of the Fiscal Service to intercept tax refund, basically take it, to pay specific federal or student debt like student loans, child support, state income tax. Let's assume the husband, for the sake of illustration, went to school 10 years ago, incurred debt from student loan but never paid the student loan. The wife says, why should I be paying his debt? Well, I will need to kind of figure something out to get my portion of the refund. So do not confuse this with the innocent spouse with the injured spouse. The innocent spouse and the injured spouse are two different things. Remember, the innocent spouse is when we are dealing with an error on the return, hidden income, fraud, where one spouse should not be liable for the tax. That's totally separate. The injured spouse deals with the allocation of the refund when the tax return itself is correct. So we're dealing here with a correct tax return, but one spouse owes a non-tax debt. And because of that, the government has taken the refund. So we will focus today on the injured spouse. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, farhatlectures.com.
You are here because you are serious about mastering taxation. Whether you are taking a tax course, studying for the CPA exam, or enrolled agent, tax feels overwhelming not because it's impossible, but because it's dense, detailed, and often taught at a pace that doesn't match the way you learn. The rules can feel disconnected, and the logic isn't always explained clearly. At Farhat Lectures, we slow it down. We explain the why behind the rules, break concept into simple steps, and rebuild your understanding from the ground up without assuming any prior knowledge. When explanation matches your learning, everything changes. The confusion fades, the rules start to connect, and tax becomes manageable. If you are ready to understand tax with clarity and confidence, start your free trial at farhatlectures.com and let's build your tax foundation together.
So to qualify for the injured spouse relief, you have to meet certain requirements to reclaim a refund. So the taxpayer must meet, we're going to list them under 4 requirements. The first is, the obvious one is, they have to be married filing jointly. Why? Because if you're married filing jointly and take your refund because of the other spouse, you can claim this injured spouse relief. 2, the injured spouse, we're going to assume here it's the wife. the injured spouse must have contributed to the refund. So you cannot tell them don't take the refund unless the refund is truly yours. You qualify for that refund. This usually means that they had reported income, had tax withheld from their wages, or claim some sort of a tax credit like the earned income tax credit under their name. So the wife here qualified. So if the wife filed separately, she will get the refund. Now she's filing with her husband, and because of that, the refund is taking. So the third condition is the joint refund was or will be applied to the other spouse past due financial obligation. So it's your refund, the wife's refund, the injured spouse, and her money is being used to pay the taxes of her husband. And of course, the injured spouse should not have any liability, because if she has any liability, then she has to pay that liability from the refund. So the injured spouse must have no legally responsible for the specific debt triggering the upset. She has no liability in this debt. And she has obviously no other sort of obligation to the government. Then she can do what? File Form 8379 called the Injured Spouse Allocation to tell the IRS, look, this portion of the refund is mine. This portion of the refund is my spouse. For my spouse, please refund my money and take his part of the refund to pay his debt. So the Form 8379, the Injured Spouse Allocation, is a specific document used to separate the spouse financial data. So on this form, you would allocate what's yours and what's your spouse. So the form allocate income, deductions, credit, and payments sorry, between the two spouses as if they had filed separately. They would still file a joint return, but they will attach this form. It's better to attach it up front with the return, telling the government, we know that my husband owes you taxes. Please keep my portion of the refund. Don't take it. Send it to me and take his portion. So the IRS uses this allocation to determine exactly how much of the refund belongs to the injured party versus the in-debt party. So the injured party here, we're going to say the wife, and the in-debt party is the husband. So the husband owes the money, the wife has nothing to do with it. Filing timing with the return. You can attach this with the 1040 when you file if the couple knows that's going to happen. And usually, how would they know? Because the government informed maybe the husband several times, or the husband knows that's going to happen. Can you do it post-filing? Sure. It can be filed by itself after the couple receive a notice that the refund was taken. It could also be filed after you notice that. And you really want to do it up front. This way, there's no delay in the process. Let's work an example. We have Alex and Morgan were married in 2024. Here's the debt. Alex has a substantial unpaid child support obligation from a previous relationship incurred prior to marrying Morgan. Morgan has no legal liability for this debt because Alex was married in the past. He owed unpaid child support, which is considered a state obligation. They file a joint return showing a $4,000 refund. So they expect to receive $4,000. Because of Alex's debt, the U.S. Treasury took the $4,000 refund. So what should they do? They would file an 8379. So the IRS allocate the refund based on Morgan's income and withholding. They determine Morgan's is entitled to $2,500 of refund. Great. So the IRS would release $2,500 to Morgan, keeps the remaining $1,500, and pay down Alex's debt, the child support. Let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. We have Liam and Sophia were married in 2024 and filed a joint return. Sophia worked as a software engineer and had significant tax withheld from her paycheck throughout the year. Liam is self-employed and owes $15,000 in past due child support from a previous relationship. When they filed the joint return, they were expecting a $4,000 refund, but the Treasury applied the entire amount to offset Liam's past due child support debt. Sophia is not legally liable for Liam's premarital debt. Which form should Sophia file to recover her portion of the tax refund? So here they're asking you, we have a several form. Do you know which form it is? Now, if you're completing this question on farhatlectures.com, you could always ask farhat.ai to explain the topic. for you. Otherwise, if you know the answer, you select the answer. Is it Form 8857, Request for Innocent Spouse Relief? Now, this is very tempting because there's relief, spouse, innocent. You would think that's the case. No, this is not an innocent spouse relief situation. Innocent spouse relief is when there is fraud or errors on the return. A is out. It's a tricky answer choice. Do they have to file Form 1040X, amended U.S. tax individual income tax return, change in status to married filing separately? Do they have to go back and file married filing separately? No, that's not needed in this situation. This is when you amend the return. Is it C, Form 8379, injured spouse allocation? And the answer is yes. This situation appears at an injured spouse, and here what you have to do, you have to tell the government of this $4,000 refund. Sophia is not responsible for the debt of Liam. Please refund Sophia's portion and take Liam's portion to pay his child support. So the answer is C. Is it Form 4868? You need to know what Form 4868 is. It's for an automatic extension if you want to have an extended period of time. If you're using Farhat.ai, you can ask the AI to explain the answer choices better. And if you want to get another a question similar to this one, you could ask Farhat.ai to create a similar MCQ for you to practice this concept. What should you do now? Whether you are an enrolled agent, CPA exam candidate, accounting student, invest in yourself. The best investment you can make is in your education, in your professional certification. Farhat lectures can help. Best of luck and God bless.